So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because we might have found, shockingly enough, a Brexit benefit, depending on what side of this argument you fall on. And that really comes down to, do you like eating insects? And I know instantly I've probably turned a lot of people to, well, this is quite a good Brexit benefit, but not necessarily. Because here's the thing. Humans actually ate insects for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and they still do in various parts of the world. The thing is, we actually turned off that because, again, our food habits started to change, and so on and so on, and eating insects was seen as, a disgusting thing to do. But not anymore, because if you've paid any attention to this novelty food that's really been coming through for the past 10 to 15 years or so, you'll know that edible insects have become quite a thing. And more importantly, edible insects are being seen as an alternative source to getting protein. So overall, this actually isn't quite bad. And more surprisingly, as we are about to find out, this industry, shockingly enough, is now worth more than the fishing industry. Shocking, I know, but once again, Brexit is about to completely destroy a potential industry that is worth far more than the British fishing industry. And once again, Brexit has destroyed a growing industry here in the UK. And will the government step in to help? Of course they're not. But before we do get into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you for all your support. So, this comes from The Guardian, and the title is, "The UK's fledgling edible insect sector is in jeopardy after Brexit." So, legal changes triggered by Brexit are putting the UK's fledgling edible insect sector in jeopardy. Before Brexit, all edible insect companies operated under the transitional measures set out in the EU's novel food regulation. This allowed insects to be legally farmed and processed for human consumption. While the novel food sector has been retained in UK law, transitional measures, however, have not, leaving insect producers in a legal limbo. Getting legal authorisation to operate is now likely to cost between £70,000 and £85,000, far beyond the financial resources of most British edible insect companies, many of them who are SMEs or small to medium enterprises. Especially if their business now becomes illegal in the interim. So, as you can see, this is quite a significant problem. And I also said, hey, this sector is worth quite a lot of money, certainly worth more than fishing. So, with their minimal and environmental footprint and excellent nutritional profile, insects are seen as a far more sustainable form of protein than conventional meat and fish. For Tresina Di Costano, the co-founder of Horizon Insects, an urban insect farm in Ealing, West London, the decision could mean the end of her business. The company is one of 7 British SMEs to have received EU funding for the development of the edible insect sector. It sounds like a case of the left hand not knowing what the right is doing. Millions of pounds of public funds, for example, thought to innovate the UK, have gone towards this development of an insect-based food. Yet, the Food Standards Agency, or the FSA, is now hindering its very development, she says. Di Costano, who sells her products online to high-end restaurants and also runs insect cooking classes, says that the FSA hasn't even indicated whether it's even planned product recalls. We have written to the Environmental Secretary, George Eustace, And in the public interest, we would welcome a discussion about this. The fact that more than 2 billion people regularly consume more than 2,000 species of edible insects should be serving as evidence to review the novel food classifications, he said. The FSA said that it would be conducting its own review into whether the transition measures can continue. It added, "It remains the case that insects are considered a novel food and need to be authorised. Many in the industry think that it is a complete missed opportunity to detangle the sector from the onerous rules and to put the UK at the forefront of insect protein movement. We are disappointed to learn that the UK government has adopted the European Commission's position that insects are novel food, which require tests and laboratory analysis and tens of thousands of pounds to prove that products have been safe that been on the market for many years are now safe," says Nick Ranzelu, founder and managing director of the industry body, the Woven Network. "We would have preferred the UK to have adopted the approach of many other countries in recognising that they are traditional foods and that they are presumed safe so long as these farming and working with them follow the appropriate hygiene and hazard management practices." Dr. Tilly Collins, the Senior Fellow at the Centre for Environmental Policy in Imperial College London, agreed. "People have evolved eating insects. They are part of our biology and our cultural history. To classify them as novel is inconsistent," she said. "It will prevent us from benefiting from this environmentally superior form of meat. There are at least 26 different edible insect businesses in the UK, from cricket farms to restaurants to product manufacturers and even retailers, and according to meticulous research, the global edible insect sector will be worth about 3.25 billion by 2027. So as you can see, already we are putting paid to yet another potential business here in the UK, because again, there was no plan for Brexit. We've discussed that I don't know how many countless times. There was no plan. There was no forethought. There was no policy to talk about. You know, it was just based on complete fantasy. And once again, we are seeing a potential industry that can be not only good for the environment, good for us to, have another different source of protein. So like it or not, depending on where you fall on edible insects, I mean, this, I suppose if you're against edible insects, I mean, it's technically a Brexit benefit for you. But ultimately, this is a massive shock to yet another UK industry. And as we have been covering consistently on this channel, other sectors are starting to come out and say, hey, our sector's being damaged by Brexit. Again, the edible insect sector is not the only sector that is suffering, as we've covered before on our previous videos. So, but yeah, bang goes that industry potentially. And like I say, most of these industries that are businesses that are suffering in these industries are all SMEs, small to medium enterprises. And those form the backbone of our economy. You can't rely on large businesses alone. You need SMEs as well. And the fact that it is ultimately SMEs who are suffering because of Brexit and are not being helped, like we've had the example just a couple of days ago of the business in Blackpool and the business in Doncaster losing about 30% of their potential revenue. That's a lot of money to lose. That's a lot of money to lose from potential revenue. If you think you're going to cut 30% out of your potential revenue, that's a lot. But as we've said before, the best worst case scenario for Brexit: less exports, less investment, less jobs, smaller economy, less tax revenues. So, as always, Thanks for watching. Please remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.